So you've had the idea of starting a business for a while now. The idea of a flexible schedule, being your own boss, building something meaningful is exciting, right? But why haven't you actually started? Well, if you're looking around for the right idea, this might be what's holding you back. You're falling into a classic entrepreneurship trap, and this is a form of perfectionism. This mindset of looking for the perfect idea is what's going to really stop you from ever getting started. My name is Cooper. I've started several businesses in the past, and in this video I want to talk to you about how you can get over that paralyzing mindset and actually get started. When you've thought about starting a business, you've probably thought about some of the big new companies in recent history, right? Like Airbnb, Uber, Blue Apron, maybe even Netflix. And these things probably come to your mind because they have been so visible to us as consumers and they've grown so much so fast. These companies are called unicorn companies by private equity, and a unicorn is a company that reaches a $1 billion valuation. I think it's worth it for us to spend a minute to look into how some of these companies were actually started. So first we can look at Netflix. Netflix was started in 1997 during the dot-com boom, when lots of companies were created during the internet. And at the start, they sold and rented DVDs through the mail. Yes, the actual mail. They were mimicking the video rental business model of other companies like Blockbuster at the time, but they made one change. They had lower costs because they didn't have physical stores. Now, guess this. How much do you think it cost to start Netflix? Their startup capital was $2.5 million in 1997, plus they had 30 employees. So they started with way more resources than I or most other entrepreneurs could even consider having access to. They were also so far from today's Netflix. They didn't start even using a subscription model until 1999, and then they didn't do streaming until 2007, which was 10 years after the company was founded. So from Netflix we can learn a few things. Don't expect yourself to have it figured all out at the start. They were able to work on a model and change later on. It's actually better to expect yourself to adapt with your business. Netflix tried lots of different things, some that I didn't even mention, and then they just committed to what worked. So when we as entrepreneurs think about companies we want to start, we'll often think about these big and popular companies, but why do we compare ourselves to these people and these companies? It's kind of unfair when you think about the resources or skills that they started with. It's unfair and unreasonable to expect yourself to achieve the same thing as them without those skills, resources, and employees. So maybe instead we can look at some businesses that are actually started every day by people all around the world. So here's an idea for you: baked goods and crafts. Most cities have farmers markets and artisan markets, and these are places where small entrepreneurs get together and they sell things that they've made personally. This is a great way to get into entrepreneurship at the start because it costs so much less. Booths are often quite cheap and you just make the items yourself. Another really good benefit of this is that these types of companies are really easy to test to see what works. If your family has a great recipe for a baked good, you could try making that. If you've seen some cool jewelry somewhere, you could try making that or selling that. You could make art, or if you need ideas, you could also go to the farmer's market in your city and just walk through it and look around and see what other people are doing. I bet you if you do that, you'll see lots of ideas that you would want to try. With this route for making a business, it's important to not hesitate to try making something. If you have an idea, just try making it. Don't worry about packaging, don't worry about pricing or branding. Just make the thing and see how good it is. Like I mentioned with the other big companies we just talked about, it's important to be flexible and adapt. So share the thing that you make with your family and friends, get some feedback, and don't be afraid to make some changes. So I would describe these baked goods and craft businesses as unoriginal ideas. And unoriginal ideas maybe are just something that somebody has already done before. Here's another unoriginal business idea for you to consider: cleaning services. Cleaning is something that's needed everywhere. It's always in demand. Corporate offices need cleaning, residential homes need cleaning, kitchens need deep cleaning, and the outdoors even need cleaning. The best part, cleaning is pretty easy to learn. It just takes some elbow grease and some soap to clean most surfaces. It will be hard work, but that's actually a bonus for you because hard work means people don't actually want to do it, and so it's easier to sell it too. With a cleaning business, you can even make your first dollar from the business before you spend your first dollar on the business. You can pick a type of cleaning that interests you, talk to people, see if they need help with that, and make your sale first and then buy your equipment after. When you're doing this, you'll probably hear quite a bit of a rejection, so just expect that. You could try cold calling, or if you don't like cold calling, you can run social media ads. There's lots of ways to get in contact with your customer. And then once you've got a customer, just buy some supplies and give it your best shot. Try to learn some things, maybe watch some YouTube videos on how to do it, and you will have time to learn from your mistakes. So now, if you're finding all of this helpful, please hit the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you want some more practical business advice, please subscribe. What I'm really wanting to get at in this video is the value of evolution. When you pick an unoriginal business idea, it lets you just get started. You don't have to worry about figuring out the model in your mind ahead of time. You can get started earlier, you can start learning earlier, and then adapt to what your customer wants. The perfectionist mindset of expecting to have it all right at the start leaves no room for learning. It wastes your time making plans that you're probably going to need to change those plans anyway. Imagine this. Imagine if you had to tell me right now what you were going to be doing between 1 and 5 p.m. tomorrow with detail, not just having a meeting with this person. What you're actually going to do, what you were going to order for dinner, lunch, how you would eat it, etc. Very specific details. It would seem ridiculous and exhausting because you can expect that you can make your plan, but when it actually came time, something might change and then your plan would be worthless. The purpose of planning is about effective preparation, not predicting the future. So don't waste time with ineffective planning, do the minimum required, and then get started. Humans are problem-solving creatures, and entrepreneurs are problem-solving creatures with initiative. Problem-solving is all about having a correct understanding of the problem, and you can only go so far with your imagination. You can only get a correct view of the problem once you run into it in real life. So, thus, the earlier you get yourself running into the problem, the more time you have to figure out how to solve it. Also, reward comes from solving problems. If there was something that everyone could solve with no effort, well, everyone would solve it and there'd be no business opportunity there. The fact that there's difficulty with what you want to do means that it's possible for you to actually have a business there. So what you can achieve here is pick an unoriginal business idea, get started, run into the customers in your local area, and see what they want specifically. You will find a way that you can change the business model to be better than your competitors. So in this way, you actually get started and you're able to adapt and evolve as a business. There's great value in using an unoriginal business idea because it lets you piggyback on the efforts and work already done by previous entrepreneurs. It lets you skip all the early problems with refining the business model. You can just get started making sales to customers. In fact, if other people are already doing the business idea, it proves that it works. There are actually customers out there that exist that are paying money for the thing that you want to do. All you have to do is maybe step into the market, start trying some stuff, and beat the competitor in one way, by a better location, faster delivery, better service, better price, or better quality, or some other way. It would actually be much more concerning if the business you wanted to start was not being done by anybody. That means that it's not been tested yet. You don't know that there's customers out there that want to pay for that thing, or maybe there are customers but they don't know how to interact with it correctly. These original business ideas are also much more expensive to start because it takes time to test and to create customers. Lastly, it's good to remember that the first business you start is unlikely to be the last business of your lifetime. If you have an entrepreneurial heart, you'll be wanting to start and grow businesses throughout your whole life. So don't be worried about being stuck to this one idea for your whole lifetime. So just get out there, start building something. Be willing to learn from your mistakes and try lots of things. Pivot when something isn't working and get feedback. If the business fails, you're able to pivot to a new business and try something else. You are not tied to this business forever. So thanks for watching. I'd love to hear some of the ideas that you've had. Maybe share some of your business ideas down below and we can chat about them. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.